Welcome back, America. Been a while. We're busy grown-ups. We got baseball, we got crazy work hours, we got teachers switching classrooms. Basic chaos, right? Well, I got some stuff ready. I'm gonna cut the front of this car up. All right, so after talking about it and not being about it, I'm gonna cut this damn radiator core support completely out. As you see, I got some pipe, multiple different sizes here. I'm going to get the cutter out and knife it off. Magically, I have a Hobart plasma cutter right here that I borrowed from Jay. He's never even got to use it, so we're going to see if it works by cutting the front end off. I'm going to leave the frame rails like I talked about before, but from there down, gone. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to cut the front bumper supports off because those are useless. And see how much weight we save in the process, right? Then we're going to measure up this pipe, bend it, size it up, use the radiator as a reference where we want it, and burn that bitch in with the welder. Let's get after it. By the way, sorry, but we all have lives. We all got shit going on. Get out here and work when I can. It's not a race, right? So do what you can when you can. Don't come out here and work until you get frustrated and don't want to do it anymore. Because then you're, like I said before in other videos, you'll kind of regret coming out here and it'll be dreading it. And I really want to work on it. Oh, yeah. You know, make yourself happy coming out here, man. This is a stress reliever. It's good hobbies, right? So enjoy your shit. Don't get all upset. I'm going to clean some shit up first. That's kind of upsetting, but then we're going to cut some stuff. All right, first things first, I've got it mocked up with these brackets here. A couple 8mm bolts here. I've got these T-flange intercooler pipe clamps. They're 11mm, so I'm going to take that one loose there. I'm going to take these two loose. I'll leave that 90 on, and all this come off in one piece, and I'll just set it to the side. All right, stuff is removed. Plasma cutter's ready. I already have this piece that I cut out the other day, but it just came from there just so I could lower the radiator down and kind of get an idea of how low I wanted to get everything. And I got a basic idea now. So when looking at it, it looks like this core support is roughly about 10 inches or so from the bottom of the frame. So that tells me that, with that tubular one that I'm going to do, I'm going to need to be roughly 11 or 12. And back here, where my rack and pinion is, I mean, that thing is only about 5.5 inches from the ground, 5 inches from the ground. So conceivably, I could go much lower. Now, I don't want to because getting it on the trailer is going to be difficult the lower this stuff is. And I don't want to get too low with it. The lower it is, the harder it is to deal with. So, I'm thinking I'll go as low as I can without getting ridiculous. So, I'm going to get the cutter out, cut it here, and I've also found this cool VIN plate on the front. I guess it gives you all the info on the car. I'll leave it there just to say it's there. But I'm going to get the cutting here. We'll see what happens. All right, well, the phone fell down there. But I'm going to try cutting this again with the plasma cutter and get this in action here to show everybody how well this works. No one knows how a plasma cutter works. It just uses fire in the form of plasma with an air burst that has a built-in pump in the plasma cutter. Heats up the metal, uses the air to push it out of the way. Cuts with plasma cutter. right through it. So I'm going to keep at this, break it off with a hammer, and then we'll do the other side and fast forward a little bit here. All right, as you can see by the falling debris and cut off pieces, plasma cutter works. Sliced right through it like it was nothing. I'm obviously going to grind those off with a flap wheel nice and smooth and whatnot, but not my concern right now. So we'll go over to the other side, do the same thing, keep on keeping on. Probably going to take the turbo off and move it out of the way too, because I don't want any good plasma bits flying on that expensive piece of spinny, wheelie, Wu-Tang, Boosty Boy stuff. Alright, that's one removed core support. Off the bottom, off the sides. I've got the turbo off over there in the lake bag. I'm going to go ahead and trim up some crap I've got back here that I was wanting to remove anyway. It's a bunch of sharp edges and stuff. It's in the way of the end of the turbo. I was already going to do it, so now's the perfect time with everything out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that off. And after that, we will weigh up this stuff and measure for our new lower support. Alright, with the core support removed, intercooler bolted on the top, and radiator just kind of sitting in there in a roundabout area, not necessarily exactly where it's going, but that gives me a general idea of what I want to do, and I think I'm going to go just a little bit lower with the radiator. As you see, that's decent clearance. The bumper will stick out, the stick down with the bottom of the fender right there. So that's probably about the limit I want to go on lowness. You know, I don't want the radiator sticking below the bumper, I don't think. So I'm going to get some measurements here. I'm going to measure down off this frame right here. Get a good line of how far I want my bend to go down on my pipe. Measure width-wise, how wide I want it to be. And then we will bend it up. Kind of show you how we bend the pipe. And cut it to length that we need it. And then it's just a matter of welding it up to the bottom of the frame there. Make some little standoffs for the intercooler and the radiator to have brackets that mount to it. And that's TKO'd. So, more progress coming. Alright, now there's some measurements. It is 35 inches from the center of this frame rail to the center of this frame rail. I have about 6.5 inches of clearance under here right now. I'm going to go 9 inches off the bottom of the frame rail and bend and go across 35 inches and then 9 inches back up. But to be generous with myself, I'm going to bend 1 foot on either side too long so that I got plenty of room to play around with. Maybe if I want to do an angle or some kind of funky bend or something, I have the capability to do that. I was thinking, that's if I do the core support right off the bottom of this. You can see in there it's nice and thick, and I don't think it'll bother anything. I could go back here more and do like a 45 and then bend it around it, which would be pretty neat. I just don't want to start interfering with stuff. And I want to save as much room as I can. And I'm only really worried about my radiator outlet coming out. If I don't have to cut that, I don't want to cut it. And it's looking like I'm going to have to cut it, but I'd really rather not. So if I can lower that down and get it out of the way and possibly get a radiator hose that'll go on that, I can maybe cut this neck down and bevel it like this one's beveled. I can do that, no problem. Then I can get a hose that just 90s off. And it's just going to go straight into the thermostat housing here. But I'll attack that one problem at a time. No reason to worry about it right now. So let me get set up and we'll get this pipe bent. Alright, I measured off 1 foot. This is 3/4 inch electrical conduit. It's the thick wall stuff. I measured off 1 foot. This doesn't have to be super strong. It's just holding up the radiator and the intercooler, and that's it. It's not got to be Superman tough. It's you know what I mean? It's not doing much. So anyway, got my bender here. We will line up our marks, hook this in, rock back. As we rock back, it'll make a nice tapered bend. I can't do this with one hand, so I'm going to stop, but I'll get a video here shortly after I have it done. All right, so obviously that went farther than I wanted it to, but I've got plenty here. This whole stick of pipe was $6. It's like whatever. But as you see, I used this mark that says back of 90 for that mark, and it took that much more pipe to make it happen. So I'm going to measure how much this is, translate that to the other side after I mark off 35 inches. And we will do the same thing on the other side. Okay, well there you go. One core support. But, like all things, I don't get it right the first time. So, it's 2 inches too long. Need to be 35. Don't know where I messed up. I don't really care. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my tubing cutters right there and I'm going to cut 2 inches out of the center. And I'm going to weld it back together. Done! And I'll sand it smooth with the flappy wheel. And then we'll weld this bitch onto the car. What do you say? I like the way that sounds. All right, here's the 2-inch piece I cut out. I marked a line down it. So I have a nice straight line to true it back up to in the vise. Clearly a nice straight line. So I'm going to put a tack to it. First I'm going to measure it one more time. After I put a tack to it, we'll roll it around a little bit in the vise here and get a decent bead on it and go test fit in the car. All right, I got a nice and heavy tack on it there. There we go. And as you see, it is dang near perfect, width-wise. Almost perfect. So now I'm going to cut the ends off to the correct length, 9 inches. And I'll remeasure one more time to make sure that's what I want. But I think 9 is going to be great. And we will flap wheel the underside of the rail and tack it onto the car. All right, y'all. There's one custom radiator support. Sorry, I just ate a tape measure. As you see, we have about 6.5 inches of room there. And it came down roughly 9 inches off the bottom of the frame rails. I just got it tacked in for now, but as you see, I'm extremely happy. That's so much more room. One little piece of 7-inch conduit. Amazing. I'm probably going to add some little supports in the back, little 45-degree supports to go from here to the frame. Give it a little bit more rigidity. Just in case. I don't think it's going to hurt anything, but, you know, whatever. I'm going to set the radiator in there now and see if it looks halfway decent. And we'll go from there, but I'm already pretty tickled with it. I mean, damn. I like it. Way lower down in there. Only problem is I got is the neck down there, like I said. I think I'm just going to cut it and then give it a lip there with a pair of notchers and make it where it won't pop off the hose when I put a new hose on it. But, man, shit. For $7, man, y'all kiss my ass. The kit online is $100 and something, unwelded, uncut. I made it for $7. I mean, you know, come on, guys. Like, damn. So, anyway, I'm going to burn this thing the rest of the way in. I'm going to hang the intercooler on there just to look at it. I'm going to burn it the rest of the way in and make some standoff brackets for the bottom of the intercooler because there's, you see these bolts on the top. Well, there's also some on the bottom of the intercooler. I'm going to take these, flatten them on the end, drill a hole. On the other end, I'm going to bevel the pipe so that it welds directly to that pipe. And I'll have a standoff piece to go from the core support to the intercooler and have a perfect mount for it. So it'll be nice and solid mounted. Won't move around and hit the radiator. I'm going to put foam tape in between the radiator and the intercooler so they don't rub together. It's just a little safety precaution. I'm also going to wrap the bottom of the core support in rubber. And when I put the radiator on there to keep it from moving around. I mean, damn. I can't be happier right now. I got to build some brackets for the radiator to hold it on. You know, whatever. I'll do that when I get there. But for right now, shit, I'm just basking in the glory. Alright, here's with the intercooler bolted back on and the radiator in there and the new core support. I've got what, a quarter of an inch on that side. Almost exact same gap on this side. Man, damn. I should have just done this from the beginning, y'all. You know, you sit and second guess yourself and think about things and wonder, will it work? Should I do it? Yada, yada. You know what, man, what's the rush? Dig in, man. What are you going to do, hurt it? There's only a bazillion of these fucking cars in the world. I mean, a couple miles away, there's a guy that has, I'm going to guess, probably 300 Mustangs in a junkyard behind his house. It's literally all he has. So, worst case scenario, you can get another one for 10, 20 bucks, whatever. Anyway, damn, man. I'm still tripping out a little bit. I actually built something that works great. I mean, I don't even know what to do. I don't want to do anything else because it works so well. All right, I'm going to weld it the rest of the way in, and I'm probably going to call it a night because it's ridiculously humid out here. All right, 1.3 pounds is the length of pipe that it took to build the core support, which is almost the exact same length that I used. This is the spare piece, but I mean, it's damn near identical. Here's all the pieces to come off of the core support that I took off. Let's stack them up here. We're already up to 4.71. Let's see. Roughly 9.5 pounds. Awesome. So we saved 8 pounds. Get that, everybody? 8 pounds by cutting off that core support and making our own. You know what? That's pretty damn awesome, y'all. I'm happy. I went ahead and hung the radiator, intercooler back on here just so it's not sitting around. That way it doesn't get kicked and get a hole in it. Cleaned up a little bit. I haven't swept in here in ages. So I'm going to come back out here in a couple days and we'll get back to work. I'm going to work on the standoffs for the intercooler and work on the supports for behind the core support. Even though after I've got it all welded in there nice, there's not much room to it, move to it at all. But yeah, just in case a support would be nice. Got plenty of pipe left over, so it'll work. And then I get back to working on the rest of this stuff. I'll have to make some brackets for the radiator to support it. I'll lock it in place, basically, to make it where it won't move around during operation. I'll have to get to work on the belt system. I've got the steel right here for the alternator plate that I was talking about. To make that, I got to make some standoffs to space it out correctly. And then we're going to start working on the fuel system and the fuel cell in the trunk and all that good stuff. Little by little, y'all, we're getting there. Anyway, let's wrap this thing up. All right, so hot and sweaty. It's humid as hell out here. Thank everybody for watching. I know it's gaps in my videos now, but hey, whatever. You got to take the time to rest your mind and body. Anyway, we'll keep plugging along a couple days or so. Here's some videos. If you look back through the series, you can watch and see what's going on. Watch the videos of my son's four-wheeler. We've got to work on the other kids' four-wheeler. KJ's is all fixed up. We've got to work on Jackson's. 2 boys, 2 four-wheelers. So, one of them things we'll get to eventually. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Peace.